Well, we're going to go spray cattails today. You can see I've got 5 gallons mixed up in the tank here, and cattails are hard to get rid of. Anybody that's ever dealt with them ought to know that. This is not going to eliminate them, what we're going to do today, but it's going to knock them back real good. And if I stay on it, you can kill off the cattails with this stuff. The stuff I'm using is called Diquat, and I buy the generic. This jug, you can see it's Agricel brand. It's the active ingredient is where's it at? Diquat dibromide, 37.3%. So apparently the patent ran out on this. Whatever company had the patent was selling it under some brand names. I think Tsunami is one of the brand names. But the way I understand it, the patent ran out a few years ago, so you can start getting generics on the market, and that's what this is. I've been working out of this jug for a couple of years, but I know one other brand I think is I forget what it is, but you can buy this stuff on Amazon. It's about $140 for the brand name, or you can get the generic, which is the exact same active ingredient, for about $100. And you can see how far a jug will last you. So I mixed up for this 5 gallon. I just cut my little measurements in half. So I put 13 ounces of Diquat and 2.5 ounces, probably about 3 ounces actually, of Dawn dish liquid for 5 gallons of water in this. And you have to add, you cannot just spray, well, you can spray just Diquat mixed with water on cattails, and it will work a little bit, but it works much better if you use some sort of surfactant. And this Dawn dish liquid I've got it on hand, it's cheap, and it works well. So what the surfactant does, the way I understand it, is it helps to cut through that oily layer on the outside of the plant so that the poison can actually get into the plant and work. Otherwise, most of what you're spraying on the plant just runs off from that oily layer. So you need a surfactant. Either you can buy an expensive one at the pond supply guys, or you can just use what you probably got in the cabinet at home already, and that's dish liquid. So this stuff also works super well for, well, they say it works for watermeal. I don't know that I've had any experience with watermeal, but I have used it on duckweed. And man, I'm telling you, I got a little pond that just gets overloaded with duckweed some years. And I sprayed the heck out of it last year. I sprayed the heck out of it the year before. And this year, the duckweed has not come back. So, and it's a little bitty old mud hole. Matter of fact, I'll show you that little mud hole right now. I'll go make a clip of it, and I'll insert that right here. Well, here's the little mud hole that I call it. You can see how close the trees are there, and they put a tremendous amount of leaves and twigs and stuff into that water, which makes a lot of nutrients in the water, which, the duckweed and watermeal just absolutely love. But we are in the middle of August, and I haven't sprayed that pond at all this year. It does need a little attention. I'm contemplating spraying some of this stuff. I'm not even sure what this stuff is, but I might give it a shot of that Diquat and see what happens to it too. Okay, so that's the little pond. We're gonna head over to the other pond. And for you guys that have seen my other videos, you know that cattails are the least of my problems this year. We developed a hole in the pond this spring, and I've been on the fence about even spraying cattails this year. Early this spring, I was out there. Actually, I was chest deep in the water pulling cattails, because normally I like to have some in designated areas of the pond, just for habitat for all the critters in the water. But because the pond level has dropped so dramatically, all the cattails are out of the water now. So the only thing the cattails are doing is, unfortunately, feeding the darn muskrats that I can't get rid of out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and, if the fish and frogs and other critters can't take advantage of the cattails, I don't want the muskrats benefiting from them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knock them cattails back quite a bit. Now, again, this is not going to kill them. One treatment is not going to kill these cattails, but it will hurt them pretty significantly. And if I stay on it, I'll be able to kill these cattails after a few treatments. I don't know how long it'll take. I've never tried to actually just kill a stand of cattails with this. Normally, I just knock them back with this, and they come back a little less aggressive, and then I tolerate them. So I'm going to go ahead and get over to the other pond. And I guess as far as mixing this stuff up goes, again, I'm mixing up 5 gallons. May need more. I'll come back and mix more if I do. But I just use the graduations on the tank. I don't get, too excited about, perfectly accurate measurements, but I filled it up about 4.5 gallons of water. Then I added my chemicals in there because I don't want that soap to stir around and make a bunch of foam in this tank. It works great as a surfactant, but it's still Dawn dish liquid, so it can make a whole bunch of bubbles if you're not careful with it. So let's get over to the pond. I'll show you what we're doing over there. There's one. Oh, mommy dear. It's going to be hard to hear me, but I like to keep that four-wheeler running. It makes just a little more voltage, which makes the pump run just a little better, which gives me a little bit more pressure for spraying. So I'll run the wand in here and circulate this for a minute or so to make sure I get the line all flushed out. Last time I used this thing, I run clear water through it to rinse everything out. So I'll circulate all this for just a minute or so, and then I'll adjust my tip to get sort of the spray that I'm looking for. That's probably good. I use the wand to sort of mix it around too, but it's probably sort of a jet spray right now. It's probably just a little too much. Let's see what it does here. That's not bad. Now this Diquat will kill your grass, so if it's windy at all, or you got other weeds like that thistle there, it'll kill a lot of stuff. I'm probably getting a little bit vigorous with it right there, but you can see the plants are glistening down there. Hopefully you can see that they're glistening, they're well covered. We're gonna get over into there. That's where the real problem is. Okay, so you can see how bad the problem's getting. They've got a hole right there. I put that paver under it because the hole's so big I wanted to direct them out under that trap. And they keep tripping that trap, but I just can't catch the darn things. Here's how we're gonna do it. See the wind blowing just a little bit more than it was when I started this adventure. Just a bit, it's a bit windy to be doing this. Because the bank's so steep on this side of the pond anyhow, the cattails only grow out maybe, oh, I don't know, I'm probably only spraying cattails are probably 15 feet from me here on the quad. This pump reaches that very easily. I'm just giving them a good soaking. There are 3 muskrat holes in them cattails. They are so far up out of the water that originally I thought it was muskrat holes were causing my hole in the pond, but heck, even the muskrat holes are 3 or 4 feet out of the water now, so there's no way they're the problem. I mean, they're not helping anything. We can give them a good soaking. And heck, we'll just spray all this other crap here that I can't mow, being it's on the bank. There we go. You can see them cattails just a-shining in the sun. I feel good about that. I'm gonna keep on working all the way around here. We're gonna hit that patch. There's just a little bit growing there in that bluegill habitat, which is completely out of the water. And then we're gonna hit that big patch over there. Normally I manage this, like I said, back in the spring, I was pulling cattails between here, between there, I was pulling cattails. You can see there's the outflow pipe. Between there, so I was keeping them groomed really well, and you can manage cattails, but you got to stay on it. Every year you got to pull cattails at least once. I'm gonna keep spraying. Well, that 5 gallons didn't make it nearly as far as I hoped it would, so I'm back over here, mix up another 5 gallons. Now we're back over here at the mud hole. I got, maybe a gallon left in there. We'll go ahead and hit this stuff. And you see it's barely coming out. There, that pump's kicking in a little bit. I'll have to look up what this stuff is. I'll look up what this stuff is. I'll post it in the description down below. We're gonna hit that lily pads too. I'm not crazy about them being in there. So click that subscribe button. I'll post updates. Probably do them just as YouTube shorts. So I'll show you how this stuff, how this Diquat affected this weed as well as the cattails. Yellow flowers on it. Kind of pretty. I guess a little bit be all right, but it is looks like it's been pretty aggressive here for the last 2 weeks. I've started to notice it's really taken off. It went from 1 or 2 little shoots like that a few weeks ago to what you see now, so we probably ought to at least go ahead and try to knock it back. I'm sure we ain't gonna kill it all, but maybe we ought to try to get a handle on it anyhow. Just about empty. Well, there you can see just a few speckles. See them little green speckles? That's duckweed. Now that duckweed had completely covered this pond for a number of years, and like I say, I started spraying it a few years ago. Well, I guess about 2 years ago I started spraying it, and this is the first time I'm spraying it this year. So we didn't completely eliminate it, but I don't know that you really can completely eliminate that stuff. But we sure put a hurting on it. I think that's pretty well it. Go up and rinse this thing out. I'll show you where I rinse it out, because that's kind of important given what this stuff is and what it'll do to your yard. Here's where we're going to rinse it out. This is sort of uphill, and that is the downhill clear down over there. So all this water here goes that far, which is probably, I don't know, 40 yards before it gets to the grass. This is where I rinse out when I'm doing Roundup or, this Diquat, stuff like that, because I don't want it to get up in the yard, because like I said, it will kill your grass right now, buddy. So put that in there. We're gonna rinse the tank out real good, and then we'll flush the line too. So this is what 24 hours after spray looks like. I looked up this weed. We are at the mudhole pond, and that weed is called water primrose, and it has been significantly affected. You can see down there where I apparently didn't do a very good job of spraying. You can see how it's, brown here. It's a little patch of green here, and it's brown over here again. So you can see I got that sprayed real well, but this didn't get sprayed real well. So pretty significant difference in one day. So let's head on over to the other pond, and we'll check out what the cattails look like. Well, here we are over at the other pond, and I'm hoping it's going to come across on the camera, but these cattails are brown and dying. This grass here, I didn't spray it a whole lot, but you can see what the other grasses got sprayed. They're dying back pretty good. You can see that the difference in these cattails got good and sprayed. The stuff out there on the end is a little greener, so I must not have got them quite as heavy. Unfortunately, there's the trap. Nothing tripped it last night, so that's no good. These weeds here, I sprayed these weeds. You can see what I hit or what I didn't hit and what I hit right next to it. Big difference just in 24 hours. Big difference. Let's look across the pond so you can see the really brown cattails on the outside that got good sprayed. But these would have been a lot further away for me to spray, so they didn't get quite as they didn't get coated quite as well. But the yard here, even the little brown out here in the grass where, you know, like I said, the wind was blowing just a little bit more than I wanted it to yesterday when I was doing this. These weeds here, I hit all this stuff under the windmill. That was all green and lush, and it, shoot, man, it's about dead. So that's 3 days after spray, and you can see that little patch of green over there that I missed. So it's, you know, really apparent what's been sprayed is brown and what I missed is green. And again, I was spraying from the other direction this way, so that green stuff would have been the furthest away from me. But this stuff here, you know, it's brown and dead. And again, it's only 3 days after. So that Diquat is some really potent stuff. Also, you'll notice the grass here, I got a little carried away there, as well as right here. So if you guys are spraying that, make sure the wind ain't blowing it back in the yard, or, you know, make sure you don't accidentally spill some in the yard, because that stuff was just as green as that stuff 3 days ago. So I'll keep you guys updated. I think we're going to end the video here. If you want to see updates, click that subscribe button. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Until the next time, keep on tinkering.